We recently did a session on institutional memory, the importance of institutional memory. And you mentioned this idea of triangling relationships. I want to focus a little time on that because I think it's very important. The most effective fundraising programs I know of with their top donors always try to have multiple connecting points. So if a president leaves, there are other people that can carry that ball. If a staff member leaves, there are other important relationships so that you're not continuing to have to start all over. I have seen situations where an organization has had people have had an important relationship with a donor that lasts years, and that donor to the people in the development office is John. Every correspondence is Dear John, but then one day the letter arrives and it's Dear Mr. Smith.
Right. Because
the people, they've lost that personal connection, so the person sort of feels like, well, I don't know this person, so it's Mr. Smith. But in that donor's eyes, he's John in relation to the organization, but you have done something that pushes him away. If you're effective in triangling relationships, that will not occur. Now, let's talk a little bit about what I mean by triangling relationships. And that is that a strategy that I like to use is to say that if you're, and this is particularly true with the higher end relationships, that one of your goals in those visits is to nurture your relationship with that donor, but also other people's relationships with the donor. And the triangling will occur because you are a messenger for other people. So I would always, if I was going to visit someone who had a relationship with somebody else, I might drop in their office and say, I'm going to see John Smith tomorrow.
Right.
What news would you like for me to share? And the answer might be, tell John that I'm now a grandfather. You know, Sally, 7 pounds, was born April 17th. So I go out and I'm meeting with John Smith. And I say, oh, by the way, Dee mentioned that he's a new grandfather and he just wanted me to tell you. What that does is that models that his relationship is with me, but my visit also becomes a connecting point with Dee.
And with the whole organization.
With the whole organization.
Right.
So if I leave, that person the relationships have been nurtured with other people. Another strategy that I often use is that when I come back to the people that have had relationships with that person, I share some information. And so I come in and I may say, using that example, I may go in and tell Dee, you know, John or Mary, when I visited, she had just gotten out of 3 days in the hospital. Well, he might write a follow-up note saying, you know, Henry just came in the office and I was sorry to hear that you just got out of the hospital. I hope you're feeling better. Well, that note partners that donor with me, because I care enough to share something important about her with this other person, and he becomes present in that relationship. And that partnering is very, very important. It makes staff transitions a lot easier because you maintain that institutional memory. It doesn't replace having the records and the files, but it maintains a sense that when the person that the person's connections to the organization don't disappear because one person happens to leave.
And if we take a look at that from the donor's standpoint, what a remarkable, affirming, transpiring of events that would be.
Because they care enough to share information about
they're
it.
not really plugging into here's what we're going to do with this relationship. They're just saying, there are a lot of people
who care about
in that place who care about me.
Yeah. And
that's really how we want that to be.
Sure. I think it also points to the fact that the stereotype of what these visits are is talking about money.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's talking about relationship. The conversation about money may very well be there, but it's in the context of a broader understanding of what partnership is about.